Tonight is night we fight. Go power, shine bright. Like, what the
I
fuck?
remember those.
All of this sounds like familiar and so
I remember those.
I'm
yeah.
making it up, but it sounds legit.
Wasn't there like a Green Ranger song like Go Green Range?
Hey everybody, it's PreRendered. We're back. Episode 10. 10.
Double digits.
10, 10, 10, 10, 1, 10, 10.
You unlocked that trophy right there.
Yep.
Episode X.
I'm George Benitez, and here I have with me my amazing co-hosts, Lysandra Ramos.
Wow.
In the building.
In the building. Wade Patrick Sheridan.
Thank you for saying amazing.
We're like
let it get-
Spider-Man.
Amazing. Well, that wasn't too good. And I have Ricardo Gale.
Dang.
What's going on?
Got him.
You just kind of ruined Ricardo's
sorry.
intro.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So, Ricardo Gale.
Hello again. One more time.
Yes. Before we were rudely interrupted. All right. We have a good show for you today. I wouldn't say a lot of stuff. Just one really big thing happened today, which was the whole Xbox thing. But we'll get into that. Let's first talk about The Last of Us. Kind of came out right after E3 and all that madness, so not everybody got a chance to play it. But we finally picked it up, and
It is here.
it's here. Last of Us.
Gotten our hands on it.
I don't think Rico has played it yet, but we will try our damnness without spoiling anything. If one of you spoil, I will find you and punch you in the face.
I will sneak up behind you and stab you in the neck with a shiv.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
won't even know what's coming.
that's murder.
Oh,
I
see
can't
what he
really
did
spoil
there.
anything. All I really know is that I've been seeing pictures of Dylan McDermott and Ellen Page all week.
So yeah, what do you guys think of the game? I don't think anybody here has finished it yet. Let's just say that we're reviewing a game and we haven't even finished it. So
It's a review in progress.
a review
Yeah.
in progress. So Lysandra, go.
no, the game is amazing so far. I'm not too far into the game. But I will say this, it's probably one of the games that has like pulled my like heartstrings the most. I know some people have said they've cried during certain games or whatever, and I've never really felt like that towards any game. But The Last of Us, without saying anything, the intro to the game is amazing, and it's definitely gonna get some emotions, running through you. You're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe they went there, and they just go places where most games don't normally go. Aside from the story, though, the gameplay itself is very, very solid. I was gonna say it's typical Naughty Dog, but it's not exactly like Uncharted. There's not big explosions, but it does have really big set pieces and very dramatic moments. Overall, though, from what I've played, it's a very solid game. I like the gunplay. I like the voice acting, and the graphics are very, very good.
You actually like the gunplay? I think maybe it's just this is I was playing it and it just kind of made me remind myself why I'm never gonna buy a shooter on the PlayStation ever again. I'm playing this and I'm killing myself because I'm trying to shoot these things, these freaking, what are they called, the clickers or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are like, Rico, the clickers are like they're zombies, but they're like super zombies.
Okay.
And if they get their hands on you, it's an automatic kill unless you have like this upgrade that can
Stab them.
you can stab them to defend yourself or whatever. Kind of like I don't know if you played the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube. There's that, if you have like a knife or whatever equipped, if you have like knives, you can defend yourself if the zombie grabs you. Anyways, so yeah, and they take like 3 or 4 shots to take down, or like maybe 2 headshots, but like the gun, I cannot aim to save my life literally in that game. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's not.
I had
Go
the
ahead.
same issue. I had the same issue, and I read on a review that's on purpose. Like if you stand still, it has nothing to do with the controls. His arm moves ridiculous. Like he moves ridiculous, and they said it's because like, oh, he's scared and all that nonsense, which I guess is kind of like a bullshit answer.
That is hardcore. So
It's just still hard to target anything. Like it's just I can't stand.
But you can upgrade that. That's one of the things you can upgrade. You can upgrade the amount of sway.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, when you first start the game,
Yeah, I know.
it's horrible.
I know.
Like straight up horrible.
Yeah, but it's still a Sony controller, and I hate it. um, but yeah, when you said about the intro, I think that was really like in terms of story, that's like a really awesome way to kind of just show how he is who he is in the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, how he became the
it's
character.
a lot of it's a lot of character building in such like a short amount of time, and you can see why his views are against whatever in certain ways and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But the story is definitely the huge highlight. Like as the game itself, it's it's kind of typical. Like it's no huge achievement. It's got stealth mechanics. It's pretty linear. There's some minor exploration if you want like some
Collectibles.
either collectibles or just salvaging
Extra,
items
yeah,
and stuff like
equipment.
that.
Good, man. Side quests and shit are important.
But it's not side quests though. It's
No.
like it's linear. It's not like an open world side quest or whatever. It's straight up like there is a set path for you, and it's kind of like they'll have like
Well, George, I would ask you, how far are you in the game?
I'm in
Chapter,
I don't know the chapters. I know I'm with the second. No, well I guess I'll just say that I'm with Ellie right now or whatever her name is. Right, that's her name. Ellie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ellie, and then I met the second person that I was supposed to meet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you that like the game continually gets more bigger and you can explore more and bigger, wider, open areas. It's not so linear, as you say. I would just point that out.
Okay, well, so far it's a pretty linear, straight path. Like it's like I remember the town right before meeting that person. Like there was the town, and it was kind of like you could explore it a little bit, but still there was like only one way to go. Like there's some off paths, but you still have to come back and then follow the path that they set for you.
Like it's kind of like I would compare its like non-open worldness, but still open to kind of like Metal Gear Solid 4. Like how like in Metal Gear Solid 4,
Which was one of the most linear games I've ever played.
But
Thank you for
the way you attack the area is you could go in all these different directions. You
Right.
don't have to go. Well, I
Right.
guess when you said
can
linear
approach,
path,
it's linear. I mean, the linear. It's not an open world game. I'm not saying linear
Right.
is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's just a linear path. Like you can either go forward or back. It's a wide open area to explore, but it's hard to get lost in that game because you'll find the path and it's just gonna
okay, I understand what you're saying better.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, like it's a pretty good game. Like again, they're not trying anything new with it. It is a typical Naughty Dog game, just less action packed.
Explosions.
Yeah, less blockbuster. It's more
Not directed by
calm down.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, it's not directed by. And the characters, like I would say in story, they really stepped up.
I-
What about
I-
you? What do you think, Wade?
I think it's going to be one of the highlights of this year, and already from playing this game and BioShock Infinite, I'm like, man, 2013 is an amazing year for gaming. I much prefer this year already over last year just because of these two games. I'm almost finished with it, and I just want to say I give all the credit in the world to Naughty Dog. I mean, I don't think I have any problem calling them the top developers of this generation. They are just masters of their craft at this point. Like, I've seriously loved every game they've come out with. And what you guys are saying about the gameplay is right. But I would say, like, as you continue through the game, it gets better, it gets easier, you get more into the rhythm of things. And that's how it happened for me. Because when I first started playing, I sucked. I sucked at the game. I was constantly dying, constantly getting caught. But, once I started getting upgrades, once I started getting the real feel for it, it really comes easier to you. And at this point, I would even call the game easy for me, because now it's just easy for me to go past all the enemies and not have to deal with anyone, But that's just my personal experience. What I love about the game is that, like, in Metal Gear Solid 4, that even though it's linear, you can explore. And you can attack the enemies however you want. You can go in
Right.
guns blazing, or you can just sneak past them and not fight anyone. Um, you mentioned the zombies and the clickers. I like them a lot too because they're not actually your typical zombies. Like they're not just walking around and if they see you, that's it. The
Right, right.
clickers, they only hear you. So they're going by sound so that you could be right in front of them. If you're not moving, they're not going to hear you. So it really gave like a different gameplay, like a way to attack those type of enemies as opposed to a typical zombie game.
Yeah.
The graphics are great, but this is gonna sound like I'm being a dick, but like we just watched E3, right? And so like we saw all the crazy new graphics, and then I played this game, and it's like I want next gen already. But the graphics in here are still amazing. They're still
Yeah.
good. They're still good. Um, and the cutscenes and the story and the character interactions I just love. These are the type of things that I love in games, and just any conversation he has with Ellie or with other characters in the cutscenes are just amazing. And like overall, this game I will say is very dark. It is very depressing. It is very sad. It is not a happy story in any way, shape, or form. This if you want to feel like shit, play this game. Because you will feel like shit. I mean, it is so just dark. I don't think I've ever played a game like this, like dark in tone. Because you play like other games that are like mature rated games with like blood and gore and like maybe there's like some killing, but this like really like explores that type of stuff. And this really explores what you're doing to these other people, this violence you're causing them, and the consequences of that, and the consequences of living in this world, and what you have to do to survive. And it's just really dark, and it's great. I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, I just like the contrast between the two characters of Ellie and um
Well,
Joel. Sorry. He's got such a weird name. Joel and Ellie, and I just like how, he's experienced this world for what, 20 years? I'm guessing, right? Yeah, it's 20
Yeah.
years.
And you can see it.
Yeah, and you can see how he is, and he's ready to freaking like leave anybody behind just to survive. He's a survivor, and then Ellie is just like this naive girl that's like, never experienced the world. Like she was born into this society, and she has no idea what life is like outside of the walls of these cities and stuff that they've created, or these towns that they've created to protect themselves from the zombies or whatever.
I want to bring back BioShock Infinite again because this game and that game actually have a lot of similarities. Starting from Troy Baker is voicing a character who is protecting and escorting a girl who helps you in combat. But it's a lot like BioShock Infinite in that, like, when you do because even though it is on a linear path and you do explore the open areas, they are very similar to me in that, like in BioShock Infinite, you could go to these different places, and every little place had like its own story, right? Like you could tell like what happened here. You pick up a voxophone, you listen to what happened. This game has a lot of that where you go to like these different areas, and this one area just tells a story from like how the area looks, and then like you like pick up notes and stuff, and you read the notes and you see what happened, and I love that in games.
And I love because I remember I was actually just playing yesterday, and you pick up a note and you read it, and then you put it down, and then Ellie's like, "You think they made it out?" And he's like, "How the fuck do I know?" It's like, "What do I
they
care?"
react.
And
Yeah,
I was just like,
exactly.
it's so awesome, like when you're in the environment, and then she like reacts to the environment, and you react to her. It's really like the immersion's really good.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
the world itself. I love the immersion you have with the world, like the notes and everything. It feels like it's stuff that is actually going on.
Yeah.
I also love the I don't know the it feels like what an actual zombie apocalypse would be like, at least in my thought. Because when I was playing the game, I felt that I was scavenging for everything. Like I really was, taking my time, looking around, trying to find any and every piece of like material I could, new items to survive and to craft health upgrades and everything. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the game where you're kind of, living off, the little bit that you can find in the environment.
Yeah.
sounds pretty awesome.
Just to get nitpicky just a little bit, there is some kind of flaws in the game. When the action pieces, the action parts, like I remember I was just playing the one level when you have like, the other guy or the other person in your party, and you're fighting pretty much like a wave of these guys, the zombie guys, And then once that happens, like when it gets like really, really crazy and all this stuff is happening at once, it gets kind of like it knocks you out of like this immersion because then it's just like you're just flailing around, if you're doing melee and stuff, and then it's just your guys are just running around like the AI is like kind of messing up and stuff and doesn't know what to do and Ellie's just getting caught and freaking everything, and it just like that kind of like knocks you. I mean, other than that, it's still a pretty solid game like from what I see, but like. Just seeing, I remember I was sneaking up in this house and there was a clicker inside or whatever, and then I just hear Ellie just like humming, like doing like music, like making music with her mouth, and I'm like, we are hiding right now. Please shut up.
My nitpicks would be the trophies because they make them so ridiculously hard that you're only going to get like one if you just play through the game. I think that's annoying.
I think that's great.
I'm trying to think what else I don't like.
I love the fight or flight thing where at the beginning of the game they tell you that it's not always best to fight, and I really like that. It's a really different approach. Like sometimes, like I'd be hitting someone with like a lead pipe, and it's like no, there's 5 of them. I can't do this. So you literally like run, like just forget about it. That's cool, and I actually like the fact that the clickers can kill you in one hit. Yeah. It gives you a very zombie apocalypse feel. Like in a zombie apocalypse, if it's just one guy and a little girl versus 5 or 6 of them, you're probably not going to win. Like if you have 5 bullets and there's 6 of them, you're most likely going to die. And it gives you like a very struggling feeling, and I enjoy that. It's not force feeding it to you like most games. Like a lot of games now are very easy just because they want you to see the story. While this game is like you are gonna retry. Those clickers are gonna eat you. Like it's awesome. Almost impossible to not die when you first meet the clickers. Like
and the load times are atrocious.
Oh yeah.
Atrocious.
But the thing is, from what I know, it only loads once though.
No, yeah. I have continued every time I turn my game back on and hit load game, it takes absolutely forever.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's only loading that part. It's not loading throughout the game.
I guess.
Yeah, it's the initial boot. When you turn the game on, it takes like 5 minutes to start.
But
then after that,
game. Like I'm shocked that they managed to pull that out on these ancient systems.
About how much hours have you guys said you put into it so far?
I'm close to the end, and I think I'm already around like 13 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm like maybe 3 hours in, 4 hours. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So it's about like standard game length these days.
Yeah, it's a standard game length, I would say.
I would say it's longer than a standard game.
Yeah, it's definitely standard than the longer game. I would.
Well,
say.
You're almost done, and it's 13. I mean, that's 10 hours.
To me, a standard game.
Standard game.
Yeah, a standard game to me is like 5 or 6 hours.
No.
Yeah. See, a standard game to me is like 30 to 40 hours.
Oh my goodness, you're an RPG gamer.
Yeah, that's RPG. I would say like for a shooter or something like that, like a decent length shooter, it's like 10 hours around that area, 10 to 11 hours. Short is 5 to 6 hours. That's a rental. If you buy that game, I'm sorry. That's freaking what's that game called? Heavenly Sword and
wasn't Medal of Honor like that?
I still haven't bought Heavenly Sword because of that. I heard
Honor.
Yeah, Medal of Honor.
We're getting.
What about the Oh, never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right. So, what do you say? You have any questions, Rico? Any?
No, I forgot the question I was gonna ask.
The voice acting is great.
Yeah, it's
I've heard.
Most likely, the answer is play it.
Could I have just a quick thing on the multiplayer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I played it. I don't like it. But it is.
And that's it.
No, but it is cool because it's not your typical multiplayer game. But I'm more into the meta game that's inside the multiplayer, which is you're scavenging for your little community, your like little fort. So like when you're playing the multiplayer match, it's not even necessarily important how many people you kill. It's how much supplies you get. So that your little base camp can flourish and you get more people. And what was really funny and awesome is that you can link it to your Facebook, right? and it makes all the survivors in your camp your Facebook friends, and it like shows their pictures and names and tells you what they're doing. So like I'm playing the game and it'll be like George Benitez is cutting wood for the camp, and like it'll show like his picture, and then like if you don't get enough supplies, it shows you who dies. So then I'll come back the next day and be like George Benitez died.
What you were describing is awesome. Sort of
Right.
invasive, but awesome.
The meta game is awesome, but when you go into it, like the matches and the gameplay of like shooting and fighting other players online, it sucks. I think I don't think it's any good.
That was my question. So the primary genre of the game is pretty much a shooter?
It's a third-person shooter.
It's a third-person shooter,
Stealth
type.
Stealth, a little with the hint of survival.
Oh,
horror.
okay. That's not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, I'll probably play it. Sounds pretty awesome, actually. You guys are selling that shit pretty well.
All right.
One thing I like it seems like the team didn't like they had probably two separate teams because it seems like the multiplayer didn't take away from the single player like usually. Like usually, whenever they have like they tacked on multiplayer, it seems like the single player loses some of its value.
Yeah.
But with this game, it seems like they were like, let's do all of single player.
All of their games are like that. Like Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, they all had pretty solid single player ones and didn't feel like they took away.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I think they're just a really good studio. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that is true. Naughty Dog.
They have that experience.
They've been around for a while. Let's move on to the big topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
It's a
Xbox
graphic here.
180.
180. So yeah, apparently Xbox or Microsoft decided to turn away from their DRM, always online stuff, and now we're just pretty much
game restrictions.
use game restriction, which is DRM. Pretty much, yeah. They got rid of all that. So we're sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, so with it, they got rid of a couple features too, like the family share thing, and I believe the
Skyping while gaming or something like that.
no. It was the cloud thing when with your discs can't be your disc-based games can't be like saved to your account.
Cloud?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can't be saved to the. You have to have the disc in order to play it, so it's not like installed in your system. So, like before, they wanted it. If you have disc or digital, it's saved onto your cloud service thing, and you have the game, and you can upload it from anywhere. But now you have to have the disc for disc-based game, unless you download it. But
wait, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
I remember during the press conference they had that one part where they were playing. She was playing Rise, the person who was demoing the game,
Right.
and then she got an invite for Killer Instinct, and she seamlessly just went into Killer Instinct.
Yeah, because it was all installed.
It was all in.
Yeah, it was all in her thing. Now, well, it's if you still have them digital, because I'm pretty sure
Killer Instinct is digital. That is true.
But like if you still have the digital versions, like if you download them, then you'll still have those features of the swapping, I'm pretty sure, and being able to access it at anything. But it did take away a lot of the features that they were trying to implement. In my opinion, this probably wasn't the best idea to so quickly change to get rid of the DRM and follow whatever these the people wanted. I think they should have just tried a little harder to explain why this is good, why we need this, which I think they failed from the get-go. And it's not even about like whole use games issue or whatever. I think it was just more about what they were trying to accomplish, and the only way they could keep it under control was by DRM restrictions, because they're trying to move into this all digital, service, kind of like Steam and stuff like that, and they were giving us the option also to purchase the games by disc, so you can it's a gradual shift, but in order for the digital things to happen, you kind of have to have these restrictions in order to make sure it's under control and people are not abusing it
Well, I think as it is now, it's like perfect because you have two sets of options. If I want to buy the disc and play the game on my disc, then I can do that. If I wish to have the downloadable content, I download it, and then I still have all the fancy options of the cloud service. So to me, it seems like this is what they should have done from the get-go, because in the end, it is more versatile to have options so that everyone is accommodated rather than to just remove one entirely or to go back to the old system.
But here's the thing, though. It's now you have to accommodate for the people that are not going to buy it on the digital side. So now you're cutting your resources in half, like, if that makes sense. Now these features and stuff are probably not going to be made. More features for like the digital, the whole implementation of digital and all that stuff they're going to be putting a hold on that, because now it's pretty much an Xbox 360 or PS3. It's essentially the same exact thing. You're getting what we have now on the PS3, and like your PS3, Wade, you can download games, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So it's essentially the same thing. So all these new features that they're trying to implement is now going to be, they're either going to be cut in half or like taken away, or just they're not going to add any more to it. It's just going to be like bare
Oh
bones
well,
minimum.
sorry, Microsoft. Make better financial decisions next time. This
I
is
don't-
what
I-
happens.
Deal
I think
with
that's
it.
bullshit. No, I think that's not deal. I think it's like, I think we needed to deal with it. We weren't
Absolutely not. We are the ones that are paying for it. Therefore,
Right.
they should be accommodating.
right. That's
to
it. No,
us.
no. That's it. You're the ones paying for it, so you can either buy it or not buy it. There you go.
Exactly.
It's a
And what
luxury item.
influences
It's not a
and what
democracy.
influences us whether we buy it or not? That is their business decisions. They made a choice. Whether or not it is the right or wrong choice, only the sales will dictate that in the future. But I think Microsoft grossly overstepped their bounds, and none of these little none of these little things that they're doing are ever going to make up for it, because in the end, I think they grossly disrespected the consumer. And what they're doing now, they're just reaping they're just reaping what they sowed, basically.
But how did they disrespect the consumer, though?
Because are you like
No. This is a legit
the-
question. How did they
Okay.
disrespect you? I'm a PC gamer. I do not feel disrespected in the least. They put
And-
DRMs.
It's
Okay.
it's not just the DRM. Right now we're segmenting the system into just the ones that we care about, instead of looking at the system as an overall whole, which includes the Kinect. And the privacy thing is still a main issue, because Microsoft is still involved in the Prism's situation, in which we have found out that they have since rescinded their statement saying that they were aware of the programs and they cannot comment on it. And since then, we have then had a whistleblower come out, who has then gone to China, revealing security news about that. So while the gaming portion of it is what we're focusing on now, there is still an entire part of the system that we also have to consider, and that is the part in which I consider disrespect to the consumers.
Okay, but we're focusing on the DRM issues and the always online
That's
and all.
that's what I stated. That's exactly what I stated.
No,
yes.
you talked about the Connect and the privacy issues. That's
And before I
completely different.
stated that we're
Right.
speaking about the
So
issues that
you
we're
still
concerned-
haven't told me why that disrespects the consumer. That portion. I
Well,
understand the privacy.
if you cannot see why a violation of privacy is a disrespect to the
No.
consumer,
I can understand that. I'm
well,
talking
that
about
is
the
my
DRM.
point. That is basically it.
But
And
that's
if you're
not
saying-
what we are discussing. That's not what I asked you. How is DRM, digital rights management, and restrictions on used games, how is that disrespecting the consumer?
It's not,
It's-
but it wasn't what I was referring to.
No,
So-
it is. It is. I'll answer
Okay,
it.
answer that.
Okay.
That's what I want to talk about. I don't, the Connect, that's a whole other feature that, that's something we're not discussing that right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The DRM, that the way they were implementing it was disrespectful, because like you said, with used games, they're going to tell me where I can sell it to, all right, and what I can do with the game that I bought. They made it so as if I don't really own the game. That's how I felt, that like I'm only paying for a service to play the game. I don't really actually own this. And it was disrespectful because
But you do own the game.
but I don't at the same time, because I can't let my friend borrow it or do what I want with it or sell it or anything. It was too many
But you
restrictions
can
on
let
that.
your friend borrow it.
If he goes online on my account and then has to go online every hour, that's just ridiculous.
No, you can give it to him. Like, you can give him the.
Okay, and then he can't give it to me back, because then all the rights are to him, right? It was like a one-time give.
Right.
That's not cool. I don't own the game at that point.
Right. Well,
And-
you're giving it to him. I mean,
No, I want to give it to my friend to borrow and say, here.
Okay,
here's a
so then
great
you had
game.
the family share thing.
But we don't
None
even
of
know how
that
that
was
works
explained.
though.
Yeah,
None of
I
that was
understand
explained.
that, but the thing is, it's we didn't. I understand their messaging was poor. They didn't explain a lot of things, but I don't think they should have jumped the gun so quickly when we really didn't know anything about what they were trying to do. I could
Yeah,
see what
we didn't even give them a chance to explain
we
their
didn't give them.
features.
Yeah, we didn't give them a chance to do anything. It's like we automatically made our decision at the end of E3, which was, I mean, I think it was a little overzealous on our part. Like we shouldn't have.
But isn't that how it always happens, though?
Dude, this is the thing, though. I am waiting. I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure Sony is shitting their pants because there's something that they haven't told us yet. And once it comes out, we're going to hate them as much as we hate Microsoft. And
I have a feeling like that, too.
I cannot wait until that happens because they're like, shit. Like, we need to get this information out. We don't know how to break it to people. Like,
But in the end, that
this,
still comes down to good business decisions.
it's. But, you know, it's, what, good business decisions of telling somebody something and not telling them? Or
Absolutely, yes. Knowing when to show your hand, knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, yes, that's absolutely
you still have
important
to
in business.
you still have to give out the information.
Absolutely, and knowing when to give it out so it does the least amount of damage is a good business decision.
But the thing is, if it's bad news, it doesn't matter when it comes out. It's
Yes, it does.
No.
It absolutely does matter when it comes out because you can couple bad news with good news and have people forget about it. This has been done over and over again. It's a common thing.
It's true.
They kind of did it with the Sony press conference.
Right.
They were like, and no DRM, and use games, $5 for online. And,
By the way, you can't play multiplayer games unless you're
Yeah.
online.
Right.
Exactly. Like,
But you know, it's I'm waiting for them to fuck up, like because they're on this super pedestal that, you know, the gaming community has put them on top of, and they have fallen before, and I'm thinking that's gonna happen again because these systems are not that different, and people think that DRM is not gonna exist anymore, which is incredibly wrong. But
I just want to go back to how it was also disrespectful, and that the Xbox One originally, if you didn't sign in online every 24 hours, it bricked your console. That is
bullshit.
George, you can't play.
You're telling me you have to do it every 24 hours. Like I have to log in on my console because it needs me to every 24 hours.
To play your games, you did need to.
No, you had to log in. If you wanted to play your system, you had to log in. Okay.
You don't think that there's something wrong with that?
No, there isn't anything wrong with that because what they're trying to give you, they're doing a service, an online service. They're trying to make it digital in order to make sure your games are validated and yours, and you're not trying to cheat the system. They have to check your games online. Everybody here goes online on their systems anyway. So this is not a big thing.
I don't.
Your system is not online right now.
Nope, it's not. My online's connected to my computer.
The difference is I have the option whether or not to do it, and
I understand that, but these are the features that they're.
But George, these features are all hypothetical because they never explained it. They never explained it,
but
and if they so quickly,
no, they explained it poorly. You can see what they're trying to do if you actually just watch them and not jump the gun to like, oh my god, I have to log in oh my god, they're restricting me on everything. No, just put the pieces together. They didn't do it for you. I understand that's their fault. They did not put the pieces together so you can see, but it's there. The information is there. That is why they're doing the 24-hour check, just because that's how you're supposed to. How else are you going to validate your installs and all that stuff? That's
why I bought the game.
I still don't see that's necessary at all.
I have the receipt that I bought the game legally.
But the reason why is you're buying the game and you're binding it to your account, so you have access to these games anywhere. So you log in your account.
Not if I don't have online, I don't have access to it. If I take it somewhere that doesn't have internet, I don't.
Right.
Because I don't own the games, right?
This is a luxury item, okay? And if this is what they want to do with their system, Xbox Live required broadband connection. There was no excuses. You had to have a broadband connection. This was back then when broadband was not even really a thing at the time. But people did it anyways. You know, people pissed and moaned at it, and they made the jump.
And that's called a good business decision, George, because they were looking forward into the future.
What do you think they're doing now, Rico?
But unfortunately, as you stated,
wait.
I understand,
Am
and
I
I agree
right?
with you, George, and I agree with you. But as you also stated, because they did not explain it properly, that is a failing on their part,
Right.
and they are now reaping what they're now. It's happening.
Look, I put it like this: all the what I still consider hypothetical, what could have been the benefits of this, they didn't explain it, and it shows me that they changed it
But
so fast that
the thing is,
maybe
we didn't give them the one.
right,
Okay, yes, they failed, and they were gonna try
right.
to explain it in the upcoming events.
But
TGS,
George, but
Gamescom. But
George,
the thing is, we did not give them the chance. We've
but
already
George.
made a vote with our dollars. Like the second, and we still barely don't know. We still don't know a lot about the PS4, but we made our decision instantly. Like it's
George,
PS4.
you don't think that if they had all these great things to tell and say that they would have stuck to their guns, because they changed and turned around real fast to the point that I'm like, maybe they weren't confident in it, and maybe there really wasn't that many great things about
No,
it.
no, it's just the PR was bad. Like Don Matrick has I think Don Matrick hurt them more than anybody when he did that interview. That whole,
Yeah, the
oh yeah, we'll
360.
buy a 360. I'm like, you don't say that ever. Like it's just something you don't say. It's like, oh, you say deal with it, but you don't say deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't literally say that. Like you do what the president said. All right, it's like, well, you can't have 100% security and 100% what is it? You can't have 100% security
What the
without
president said.
whatever, the surveillance and the
Which is
security
often
balance or
bullshit.
whatever.
Which is often circuitous bullshit.
Okay,
My
but
my big thing is like, again, like with the DRM stuff, is that, and like putting all the games on the cloud. All right, I understand that like PC gamers are like, oh, where all our games are like through Steam, but I feel like Steam, everyone has a computer, right? So like Steam is like something to me that has a way better chance of lasting longer than like the Xbox and Xbox Live. Xbox is competing with these other game systems and can go out one day, and then it's like, well, what about all the games I bought? Well, they're gone now because the
you
servers are down.
really, because Xbox Live is still up and it started at Xbox, the
Right
original
now it
Xbox.
is. Now it is, but in the future it might not be. I still go back and play my old games a lot.
I'm
And the thought that like, well, they're not going to be there anymore because of all these stupid things you have to do just to play a game that you
See,
bought,
but
it
you're
bothers me.
automatically jumping to like the worst possible scenario. Oh, what if Xbox Live? What if Microsoft just goes out of business and explodes and no
No, but the
longer exists?
Xbox portion of it could go away. You
But
never
why?
know.
Why do you think that? Like, why do you think that's just extremely
Why?
like?
Because in the video game history, tons of consoles have come and gone. Look what happened to Sega. It can happen.
But look at Nintendo. They failed numerous of times. Like they're failing now, and they're still around, and they're still going to be around for a long time. They got a lot of money. All right. Look at Sony. Sony failed with the PS3 in the beginning, and then they managed to pick themselves up. We're not in that
I would
age
say
of.
nothing's promised in this industry, and it could totally happen.
I understand your point, but I think you're going too far when you're thinking, oh, what if Xbox Live completely goes out of
But
existence?
it was a thought that I had with this. My old games would disappear.
You still play your old games?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
George, I plan on when I'm old and retired, I'm gonna play through
You
all
do
my
know we
favorite
had
games.
this discussion before, and you were questioning Rico when he played his old games, right? And you were like, "What? You still play old Smash? That game sucks."
Because old Smash does suck, but that was just that example. That was just that example.
I'm just saying, it's just like this. I don't see me going back to play, and then look at whatchamacallit. You can't play your PlayStation 3 games or whatever on
But
your
I have my
PS4.
PS1 and my PS2 that don't have to connect online to access the games I bought
Okay,
legally.
first off, have you played old system on a new TV, LCD TV?
I have an old TV for that, George. I have a retro TV
So what
that
happens when your TV goes out?
I'll get another one.
You're gonna get another retro TV.
Yeah, man.
So
eBay.
He has a time machine, George.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Not doubt him.
Wade Patrick is a time traveling wizard. But yeah. I think these complaints are a bit too much, and I think we should have given them a little bit more time to explain, because I mean I think they changed not because of the gamers. I think it's just the the PR was so bad. It's like they couldn't. The only way they could see them digging out of the hole was to go back and change. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
Well, I know I'm happy and Rico's happy, but Lysander, what do you think?
I honestly think I don't like that they went back on their own thing. I think they should have been like, you know what, we're gonna stick with it. And I don't know. Again, it goes back to the whole confidence thing. I don't think they were confident in their own ideas if they went back on it so fast. If they would have went back on it eventually, then I would have been okay with it. But they didn't even give it a chance. They didn't wait to any other conventions. They didn't announce anything else, or hey, we're gonna go more in detail or more in depth into what we have.
I think it was too late for that. No, like the negative backlash was so bad that there was like the only way they could get out of that hole was to just.
I feel that they should have pulled the Xbox One then. Like, hey, deal with it, like the broadband thing, but not like deal with it like the Don Matrick comment about the 360.
I think that was the coffin, right? The nail, the final nail in the coffin. That was it. Deal with it. Like when he literally said it, like, oh no,
that's awesome.
When the president of the
awesome, I love that.
Oh man. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the system they were saying, like when he got asked that question, it was about like the soldiers that are on base or submarines or anywhere where there's no internet access, and he's like, oh, 360. But the Xbox one thing they did state is the system does have to have an initial online connection when you start it up.
I think that will be for launch consoles. I think eventually that firmware will just be implemented anytime you buy it. That might just be a launch issue.
If it is a launch issue, it's still an issue though, because at the end of the day, let's say if I do, I'm in a base and I had my system shipped to me, I turn on my new Xbox, oh crap, I can't play it. There is no DRM and there's no internet connection checkup every 24 hours or every hour. But if I don't have internet, I still can't turn the system on.
Yeah, but I think Wade's right. I think like after the first wave, those are all going to require the internet for the patching, the day one patch. But then the next wave of them, they're all going to have it implemented. So I mean, we're probably not going to be the launch adopters. I don't know if any of you guys are actually thinking of buying an Xbox or a PS4 on
not launch. I don't think.
Yeah, like I think we're all going to wait maybe.
Yeah, I didn't see any titles that are like, oh, immediately.
Yeah. Overall though, I don't really have. I mean, I feel that they should have stuck with what they had. I mean, it's gonna sound kind of crazy coming from me, but I honestly think we should have gave them, a chance to show what they got. I kind of regret like not knowing what all these features were gonna. Yeah, all the features were gonna be like. Oh, I would have loved to have seen the family feature, family share. Yeah. So that's my opinion. Is I think they had to do it, but I feel that they shouldn't have ran back, like a coward.
I think they should have waited until whatever next presentation they had, and that presentation just leveled with us. Don't try to win us over with their fancy talk, business talk. Just be like, what's his name? Jack Treaded? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Just be like him. Just come out on stage. This is what you're getting. This is why we're doing this. This is why we're doing that. This is I mean. I can understand kind of because PC gamers have been around DRM for so long. Like this is not a new thing for us, and we're not really we can't really share our games. But I don't know. I think we should have seen what they had to offer because I think in 5 years this issue is going to come up again. Or this we're going to be moving into that realm where everything's just going to be online.
And to me, that will be the right time, though. It was too soon. It was too soon for all of this.
I don't think so. I think they were just preparing for it, Better now than, I guess, later.
I guess they better prepare better next time.
I just want to congratulate the internet. I see this as a victory for us. And good job, guys. Everyone who's been posting all the GIFs and NeoGAF and comments on everything, I'm really proud of all of us. We really pulled together and and we won.
And I'm disappointed in all of you.
And George is disappointed in all of you. But I love you.
Internet, you disappoint me. I am disappointed. I think we should have given them a chance. But
and I hope this is a lesson in PR.
I think they had their chance.
Yeah, this is really all PR this.
I hope they learn their lesson.
Yeah.
To all game companies, they all learn their lesson. If PS3 at $5.99 US wasn't enough of a lesson, this should be a lesson right here. But
Yep.
yeah.
All right then. Well, I guess we should wrap this up. I think. Oh wait, no, we got a new
We're gonna-
segment. Beep boop beep. Lysander's questions. Ba 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 da.
Of the
Lysander.
week.
So
Yeah.
Lysander's gonna ask us a question, and you guys can answer in the comments below. You know, whatever his question
Yeah, I
is,
would-
and you guys also can recommend questions as well.
Yes. Please leave comments. Leave questions. Let us know what you think. This is a new segment. It is going to be the question of the week. And this week's question is, with the announcement of Killer Instinct, what game or game series would you like to see make a return? Wade.
There's a couple of games floating through my head, and they're all PlayStation 1 related. But I am going to go with the one that I've always said, and I've said it plenty of times as like a joke. Like any E3, I was like, oh, Sony's gonna show this off, haha, I can't wait. And it's never gonna happen. But I would still love to see it because it was a game I absolutely cherished and loved, and I'm gonna say The Legend of Dragoon.
I
Bring
knew
it back. Bring it back, Sony. Have that exclusive RPG to your system. Let's do it.
Was that a
That would be
Sony?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Game?
was Sony.
Yeah.
I
Sony
thought that was
game.
Squaresoft.
Yeah,
No, that was
It was
definitely
Sony.
Sony.
But shout out to
Volcano.
Siphon. Yeah, Volcano. Shout out to Siphon Filter, which I think should come back, and shout out to the Chrono series, which should come back.
All right, Ricardo.
You
I
just
would like-
took like all of them, you dick.
Siphon
asshole.
Filter. I'm the only
Shut
guy who
up.
be asking
No,
for that.
you're just
I'm
like
the
spitting
only
names.
guy.
I'm just gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna knock these all out. I'll answer for you, Rico.
But
Siphon
come on.
Filter, Chrono Cross.
Siphon Filter. I'm the only dude on the planet asking for that to come back.
I actually like Siphon Filter, but go ahead, Rico.
It's a great game.
I would like to bring back Suikoden. I really like the it's a really traditional JRPG, and it has I don't remember if it's 108 or 102 warriors like randomly strewn about the world, and you basically you have a main character and you go around and you collect these guys and you destroy
One of
them.
them's a duck.
How many of those
It's
games
very
have
possible.
there been?
I remember up to 6. I remember.
When was
Something
the
like that.
last? When did the last game come out? Like
I do not know. The last one I remember
Was a PS2
was
game.
yes, it was
Oh.
on PS2,
wow.
and it was
okay.
kind of bad. I didn't like it too much. But the PS1 and there were some Nintendo iterations as well. I think Super Nintendo iterations, but those ones were really awesome.
I see. Well, now we move on to George the Man.
Last Guardian.
Oh,
God.
troll.
See what I did there? No, because you asked that other question earlier. You know what? I think Battletoads should come back.
Wow.
No, that is a good one.
I think they should just. I mean, even if it's like an HD, you know,
Remaster.
like the didn't they do the Turtles in Time like 3D?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, they did.
Was it that bad? I haven't played
Yeah, it was pretty
I
bad.
played it
Okay.
twice. I got it to a couple of months.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fun little game. I mean, I'm not expecting much out of it, but I don't know. What about you?
That's an awesome
Mr.
answer.
Lysander?
I would go with Jet Force Gemini, which is a
Oh,
really
wow.
good game, and
Buck Bumble. Bring back Buck Bumble.
it only had one game, but it looked like it was gonna be a series, and it was made by Rare, and it was a 64 third-person shooter. That game was amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, check out Jet Force Gemini. Really, really good.
Okay.
Wow. I think
So-
we have an awesome list of titles that like
we'll
the
never
full
see the
range.
light of day again.
Yeah, but like we covered like so much in like the game titles we mentioned. Like that's like every possible thing you would want, like in terms of like genre and like differences. Awesome. I love it.
Bring back Mario, Dr. Mario. Do it.
Battletoads.
No, Battletoads was really good. But yeah, that was, I guess, the question of the week. It's just something we're trying. If you guys like it, let us know. Comments, questions, anything.
Definitely send us your own
Definitely
questions.
send us your own questions.
And
Lysander's
also
are too hard.
answer the question if you can as well. We'd like to know what your favorite dead game genre is.
Dead game.
Dead
Walking
game
Dead
genre.
game.
Walking Dead game
Dead
genre.
fighting. game genre, zombie game. I guess that's cool.
Project Justice.
Nice.
Wow, yes.
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 All right, guys. We will catch you next week. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Go Power Ranger, go, Power Ranger.
New Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.